Hello, Boston, Massachusetts, America, United States. Now, I know what you may be thinking. You may be thinking that this chick is here to do some comedy for you tonight. Well, you're wrong. I'm actually here to get some questions off my chest that I have been holding inside of me for a very long time. Okay, here it goes. Question number 1. What the hell is up with the flavor blue raspberry? Raspberries are not blue, they never have been blue, they never will be blue. Question number 2, why, society, have you just decided to accept the fact that this made-up flavor mentioned before is recurring in many desserts and candy-related things, and why do you accept the fact that this flavor somehow is supposed to resemble raspberry? Preposterous. Also, why are the things labeled cherry flavored like maraschino cherries and not like normal cherries? The whole point of maraschino cherries is that they themselves are flavored. Why don't we just label those candies maraschino flavored? Would make everything a whole lot easier for all of us involved. And similarly, why do we call chicken chicken but cow beef? It's not like you don't know what you're eating, folks. And in that same vein, why does oyster sauce have oyster in it when eel sauce is totally vegetarian but is made to be served with eel, which is absolutely not vegetarian? And if we call everyone by the things they eat most often, then why does no one call me a mac and cheese-tarian? I don't understand this nonsense, America. All I ask, folks, is that my raspberry lollipop not only be red, but that it tastes like a raspberry. Is that really too much to ask? Okay, now it's time for the comedy. So my roommate the other day, some people were coming into our suite, and she said, "I hear voices," and I said, "Me too, but not when people are around." Yeah, that's the case. So I'm from Los Angeles, and Los Angeles has Hollywood, so people are always talking about, celebrities and all, name dropping and stuff. And, oftentimes I'll hear my guy friends saying stuff like, "Angelina Jolie, have my babies." But they must really hate their kids if they're willing to give them away so easy. I don't know, that's like a serious problem, I would say. Here's the thing. I think I'd make a really, really bad parent. I'm at the age where people are starting to talk about having kids, but no one's actually having them yet. And, they're all talking about how they want to, have these babies, and they want to, hold them and cuddle them, right? But, if I had a kid who smelled like I'd hold it really, really, really far away, and it'd look a whole lot like Nas, right? And then, you got those toddlers. These toddlers, they have Legos everywhere. It's all over the floor. You're stepping on them or killing your feet. And they have these, really unrealistic career aspirations, right? You want your kid to dream. But there's a certain point where you gotta look the kid in the eye. You gotta be realistic with them. You gotta say, "Honey, you can't be a garbage man, firefighter, singer, dancer, actor, superhero, policeman, okay? You gotta be something a little bit more realistic. Like an accountant or a prostitute." You just gotta set a standard there, And what the worst is the way people deal with teenagers. They're so f***ing stupid. They're teenagers and so they send them to their room. You know what's in their room? Their iPad, their phone, their computer, their TV. If I had a kid, a teenager who was being an asshole, I would walk their ass over to the abortion clinic and say, "See, this is what could have been." I mean, you gotta set things straight. Even though I think I'd make a really bad parent, I feel like I'd make a really good, cool aunt. I have 2 moms, and in New York in the 90s, if you were gay parents and you wanted to have a shared kid, if one of the parents was a biological parent, you had to go through this process called second parent adoption, where you basically had to go through all the same stuff as any other person trying to adopt children. So, there was a social worker at my house to evaluate if my parents would be fit parents. And, my mom made spaghetti. She makes really good spaghetti. Everyone loves her spaghetti. The spaghetti is great. And, this social worker seems to be, really enjoying everything. And she says to my parents, she's like, You guys really seem to know what you're doing. It probably shouldn't be a problem for you to get to do second parent adoption for Joe. Anyway, we should, and from the corner of the table, an infant Joe goes, and I'm choking on a piece of spaghetti. So the social worker, everyone turns their head at first, but the social worker immediately goes like, oh my God, not another one of these families. And like my non-biological mom's being like, I'm never gonna be able to be a parent. This is awful, like what am I supposed to do? And then my biological mom turns to me, goes into full mama bear mode, runs over, sticks her hand down my throat, and pulls out the spaghetti with her hand. And the whole time, the social worker is watching kind of like what's going on? But then after my mom pulled the spaghetti out, she kind of just like tilted her head, looked, and smiled. So, I mean, clearly everything worked out because like, here I am, I got my parents, so that works. And my parents were pretty great. They raised me well. I always had like pretty good stuff going on, except the one thing that I was never great with as a really young kid was my social skills. Like, I eventually grew into them, but when I was in preschool, I had no friends in preschool. And it wasn't just because, like, people didn't like me. It was more like I just didn't find preschoolers very interesting in general. There was one special guy who I was friends with in preschool. Jordan. Oh, Jordan. See, while all the other kids were picking their nose and playing with Barbies, Jordan knew where South Dakota was on the map. The thing is, he didn't know where anything else was on the map, but he was, like, able to point out South Dakota, and for some reason, like, 3-year-old Joe thought that was, like, really hot or something. Alternatively, there was Johnny. Johnny got down on one knee and said, Jojo, I love you. Will you marry me? And I said, no, I'm only 3. And so to this day, my parents are convinced that we're engaged. I don't really know why, but they seem to think I said yes. It just didn't happen. I was never super great with guys after that either. I had my first boyfriend ever, Alec Kustanovich. Oh, Alec Kustanovich. Alec Kustanovich sat near me in history in 8th grade. He liked me because he thought I was smart and pretty and talented and nice. And I liked Alec because he had green eyes and he, liked me, so that helped. And since we both liked each other, we got our one friend Luke to set a date up for us, because clearly we were incompetent. And he set us up to go see Snow White and the Huntsman. So we go to the movie, and clearly I had Googled what to do on a first date at a movie theater, so I knew I had to be super suave and lift the armrest. So we get to the theater, and we sit down, and I super suave and lift the armrest, and it's like, the hard part's over. And a few minutes in, Alec puts his arm around me, and I'm like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. And it's going great, everything's going great, until suddenly, psst, Joe. What? Joe, what? My arm is numb. What? My arm is numb. Okay, then move it. So he moves his arm, and I go to grab his hand. So I'm holding his hand for a little bit, and it's like really squirmy and kind of sweaty and weird, but like it's better than having no arm around. Without the arm around me, I had to do something. So then he goes, psst, Joe, what? Joe, what? My hand is numb. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I later found out he just really hates holding hands. So that's pretty sad. And now here's the best part about this whole thing so far. 2 of my friends were sitting and watching this whole thing. Alec had no idea. So here's why. I was too afraid to tell my parents that I was going alone to a movie with a boy that they'd never met. So I lied and told them that I was going with this group of people, and specifically name-dropped very close friends of mine. Then I realized that they see these friends often and would probably ask them about the movie. So I actually got the friends to come and watch. So they're watching this whole time, they're laughing hysterically. So now Alec and I are sitting at this movie with our arms just like this. Like sitting there, like the most uncomfortable position ever, but I still thought it was super romantic, mostly because I was like super desperate. And at the end of the movie, he goes, hey, Joe. I was like, what? He was like, will you be my girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, hey, Joe. And I was like, what? And then he kissed me, and that was my first kiss, and my friends were there watching it the whole time. I didn't tell Alec that my friends were watching this until last year when he and I got brunch. He was not particularly happy about it, but that's okay, because he's a long-term girlfriend now, and they're working out. They seem to like each other for a lot of other reasons. But the one, there was one thing that, that always, I didn't understand, like, that Alec was the only boy to like me in middle school, because, like, for some reason, like, these guys weren't attracted to my super wavy hair with front bangs parted in the middle, running shorts, and track shoes every single day. Like, I don't get it. Like, I thought I was super attractive. But, Alec and I did have this certain thing in common, and it was that he had a gay mom and I had 2 gay moms. And the thing about having gay moms is that people always react the same way when you tell them, and it's always super, super uncomfortable. And here's how it goes. So, what does your dad do for a living? Oh, actually, I don't have a dad. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, you don't understand. No one's hurt, everyone's fine. I have 2 moms. Oh, so like your dad and your mom got divorced and the stepmom. They're like, no, like 2 moms, like the gay kind. And so then they always go like this. They go, oh, that is so cool. I am so okay with that. That is so cool. That's awesome. That's so cool. And then I usually go, wait. Just checking. You have a mom and a dad, right? I mean, yeah, like, of course I have a mom and a dad. Okay. Oh my God. I am so okay with that. It's so amazing how in 2016, a mom and a dad can get married and have children. It's just so wonderful how accepting our society is that, like, someone like you could, like, live normally. And just, it's so great. 2016, what a year. How far we've come with moms and dads. Yeah, so, I mean, I actually didn't have that much trouble with the 2 moms thing, like, growing up. It wasn't that big of a thing in my life that caused any harm. But one of my 2 moms is a rabbi. And the thing about growing up with a rabbi as a parent is that, you get Judaism instilled in you as, like, a normal thing from a remarkably young age. So you have these parents come and they want to tell their kids normal bedtime stories. When other kids were getting normal bedtime stories like Little Riding Hood, my mom would come in and say, Jojo, how would you like to hear a story about Moses? And I'd be like, sure, Mom, because I didn't realize that wasn't a normal thing. And, like, so, there's only so much Torah to tell. Like, you hear the same stories, and it started to hit me, and I'd be like, Mom, why have I heard the story of the binding of Isaac 7 times? And she's like, because every single time I tell it to you, you learn a little more. And I really didn't. And kids, they didn't like that very much. It really didn't help with my lack of social skills. They all knew about fairy tales, and I knew about Moses. But there was one kid who appreciated my knowledge of Judaism. Jordan from preschool. What a guy. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I'm Joe Bernstein.
Yeah, no, I got water. I don't know that this is my water bottle, but I feel like a comic is supposed to have water. So if somebody put anthrax in this, like, you got me. I went to grab my joke book from my room, and I just grabbed 2 books. One of them was my joke book, and the other one was this copy of Malcolm X's autobiography, which was next to my joke book for some reason. And I just thought you guys might want to know, like, so you know that I'm cool. But the bookmark has a quote from Brigham Young on it, so I'm not that cool. Like, yeah, this guy might tuck his shirt into his underwear, but we're not exactly sure. Yeah. Give it up for you guys. Been here all night, yeah. And give it up again for all these other comics. Yeah. And don't give it up for me, because you guys got all the way to the end and you were just given this weird, like, compilation of everybody else. Oh, like, we've seen this guy before. A guy named Sam, seen it. Tall guy, seen it. Even a person with the last name that ends in Steen, you've already f***ing scene. No, my name is Sam Goldstein. So terrible news for all the anti-Semitics out there. This set's gonna be rough. And if that's too hard for you guys to remember, you can just go ahead. There's nobody here. Oh, you guys left a spot for all my deceased, disappointed relatives. Don't cry for me. I'll do it for myself later. No, if Sam Goldstein's too hard for you guys to remember, you just go ahead and call me by my high school nickname, which was Jew Boy Celery Stick. Yeah, we're gonna unpack that. Jew Boy was actually the easy part, because it was just a carryover from middle school. Yeah, it was already in everybody's lexicon, and I'm not gonna, make anybody relearn a nickname. I'm not an asshole. Celery Stick was actually the weirder part, because that came about not because one person started calling me Celery Stick and it just caught on. It was because 3 separate groups of people all independently came to the thought that I was a stick of celery. The first person was on the first day of high school. We were in a class, I don't remember what class, and we had an icebreaker, and the icebreaker was, if you were a piece of a vegetable, what would you be? And someone, we all went around, and it got to me, and I didn't know what to do, so I froze, like this. And someone raised their hand and went, "Gee, Sam, you look like a stick of celery." Because I went to school with the child of a South Park character and a Muppet, apparently. And so everyone's like, "Celery Stick Boy," because they were all brothers and sisters. And it caught on with that class. And the second time I was at lunch, and I was wearing a green shirt and I was eating a piece of celery. And somebody came up and they said, "How's it feel?" And I said, "Well, life hurts a lot, but I want to see where you're going with this." And they said, "How's it feel to be a f***ing cannibal?" Which is harsh to lead off a conversation with in a lunchroom. And I said, "Pray tell, whatever do you mean, good sir?" Keep pretending there's people there, there's not. And he said, "How's it feel to be a f***ing cannibal because you look like celery and you're eating celery?" And then he ran away. And everybody at the table just went, "Yeah, he does look like a stick of celery," which is not what I expected from that conversation. And the third time was senior year. I had gone 3 years. I was, about to graduate and not be Celery Stick Boy. And this girl I really liked came up to me, and she said, "Jew Boy. Jew Boy, I had a dream last night and you were in it." Did anybody here go to high school? Yeah. So I'm guessing a couple of you had crushes in high school. And I don't know if any of them came up to you and said, "I had a dream last night and you were in it." But that is the most terrifying sentence to a 17-year-old boy. And so I said, "Oh, what did I do in the dream?" Because I was suave and sophisticated. And she said, "Well, we were in this class, and I noticed you weren't here yet, so I saved your seat." And I turned around to talk to my friends, and when I turned back, there was just a piece of celery. A big anthropomorphic piece of celery. And I asked it to move. And I thought, how kind, she cares about me. And it turned around, Jew Boy, and it had your face on it. And I came dangerously close to eloping with that girl about 6 months later, a week before my 18th birthday. That's a true fact. Sorry, parents who didn't know that. No, it would have been fine had I been. I feel like I look like I'm divorced already. Yeah? Don't worry about it. So it would have been fine. I grew up in Las Vegas, which is very easy to get married and divorced in, which is weird because it took my parents 14 years to figure that one out. No, do not sigh for me. I was Jewish, so I didn't get 2 Christmases, but I got 16 days of Hanukkah. Yeah, it was great. It was half a month of celebration. I am Jewish, as you can probably tell. Thanks for clapping at general stereotypes. Yeah, no, I'm Jewish, but I don't believe in God, which is fine, apparently, to Judaism. And I told my rabbi, and he said, oh, don't worry about it, Sam. Just act every day as if there were still a God watching you. And that's a very strange sentence, because that's like when your kids are 10, and I'm speaking from experience. I was divorced, but, it was a messy marriage. That's like when your kids come to you and they say, look, we're old now, we know there's a Santa Claus. And you look them in the eyes and you go, or there isn't a Santa Claus. Did I just admit that there's a Santa Claus? Oh my God, all the kids are gonna know. No, they come to you and they say, look, we know you're Santa Claus. And you say, no, that's fine, but you should still act every day as if there's a fat bearded man watching you sleep. There's no benefit in it. Yeah, I've been working out. That sometimes lands as a joke. I'm just not, because, I'm wearing these clothes that are really showing off my physique. No, I've been working out, and it's not for anybody, it's just for me. Yeah, someone loves me. No, it's for me, and it's just because when I walk into a room, I want a motion sensor light to, recognize me as an object. When I die in such a way that I get a chalk outline, I want that to look like a skeleton and not like a drunk architect drew a racetrack. Or like a kid just finished reading The Hobbit and was like, I'm going to draw Bilbo Baggins' journey from memory. Because he's unaware that there's a map in the back of the fucking book. That would have been sage wisdom to a 12-year-old me. No, it's fine. I know I'm not fit. If a steamroller ran over me, I would look the same. It's fine. Racism is so hard to call out now, guys. Yeah, no, we're gonna go there. No, I am a straight white guy, which means it's not my place to say a lot of things about it is my place to say it about social injustice. We're going to skip this setup. Pokemon Go ruined racism. Yeah, here's why. When I would walk into a restaurant and I'd sit down and I would just hear someone at the table next to me just whisper, this place is f***ing swarming with them, I now have to pull out my phone and check for Pidgeys before I can call them an abomination and like a horrible person. So yeah, Pokemon Go ruined my chances to be a social justice warrior. Did I mention I'm reading the autobiography of Malcolm X? Oh, thank goodness. I did bring my joke book. I had you guys fooled. And this pen was open and I just stabbed myself in the hand with it. Has anybody ever heard of O.J. Simpson? Yeah, me neither. So I did some research. And I went to Wikipedia, which is where you research things. And on O.J. Simpson's Wikipedia page, it has these credentials listed in this order. O.J. Simpson is an American actor, football player, broadcaster, and convicted felon. I don't know about you guys, but I love The Naked Gun. It's not the first thing that I think of when I think of O.J. Simpson, though. And so I just hope that if I ever, commit a crime, that goes on the end of my Wikipedia list, too. Like Sam Goldstein, comedian, person, dog walker. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And also man who tried to blow up the moon. And now, because I auditioned with a banjo, because I didn't have enough time to fill up my set, I'm legally obligated to perform a song, which is interesting. I wrote a song for this for a girl who said she would be in the audience, and then she broke up with me. So, no, it's fine. And so I changed the song. And my producers said, Sam, your new song isn't good. And I said, why? And they said, it's just House of the Rising Sun. So I thought, well, I'll change it just enough that they won't know. And so I wrote this song. Yeah, here we go. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, that's S-O-N. And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know, I've only heard about those guys. My mother wasn't a tailor. She bought my jeans at Marshall's. And my father was a businessman. And he's never been to New Orleans. Do people know House of the Rising Sun? I should have checked before I, got the tune of my own song. My own song I wrote. Now the only thing a gambling needs is a suitcase and a jackal. I'm gonna be honest, I only wrote 2 verses. I didn't think I'd get this far. The only time that he is satisfied is when he's hanging with Angela Merkel. Musical improv is my strong suit. Yeah, all right. I didn't say I could play this either. Anybody got a verse they want to add? Yeah. There is a house in New Orleans. They call, can you feel me myself right? Rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many who's clapping. And God, I know I'm done with the song. No, you know what? No. All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Is Bruce Springsteen here, or did he just lie to me? Yeah, no, he just lied to me. Thanks for coming out, guys. I've been Sam Goldstein. Good night.
I love a good deal. So I went on Groupon, I was trolling Groupon one day, and I just scooping up all these restaurant deals. The problem is, though, being a single male, it doesn't appeal to the single male demographic. So basically, Groupons are dinner for 2 Groupons. You cannot use them if you're one dude. So I naturally came up with a plan to defeat the whole dinner for 2 Groupon stigma. And all it requires is a dead wife. That's all you need. So you go through your dinner as you usually would, and you order 2 of everything, and you get everything wrapped up at the very end, and the waitstaff comes up, and they say, "Sir, could you please pay?" And you're like, "Sure, show them the Groupon." And then they say, "Sir, we can't accept a dinner for 2 Groupon. That's not how it works. You're here alone." And I just say, "I'm sorry, my late wife, I do the 1,000-mile stare off in the distance. And the waiter immediately backs away and he says, "Sir, we are so sorry. We'll get this sorted out. I'm so sorry." And he goes away, brings back my food. I usually get a free meal comped at the end of that. And just as my meal's wrapping up, I have my doggy bag. This lovely young woman comes into the foyer, bringing that back. And I handed her a doggy bag and she says, "Honey, my dermatologist appointment, it ran over. I'm so sorry." And I turn to the waitstaff and say, "Oh, my late wife, she's so bad with times." If you think that's gonna be my last joke, you're right! That was the Emerson Channel comedy special, everybody. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it, every last one of us. Have a good night.